morning. Thank you for joining our webinar this morning. This is Sarah with Syscom Services, and we're going to be talking about RightFax 10.6 Feature Pack 2 today. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, and you'll be able to view this on demand later and share this with your colleagues. So today, I'm going to be hosting. I'm Sarah. I've met a number of customers on here, and with me is Fitzroy Peart.
Good morning.
And we're going to tell you all about RightFax 10.6 Feature Pack 2 and why we think it's pretty exciting. So as a quick peek as to what we're going to talk about, they've really done a lot of great enhancements to this newest release of RightFax. So much so that we really think it's more of a major release as opposed to just a standard feature pack. And we wanted to explain some of these new user enhancements as well as administrative enhancements for you. If you have any questions throughout this webinar today, please feel free to submit them in the chat box. We will be opening the lines up at the end of the webinar if there are any questions as well. So OpenText decided to really focus on these 6 core areas when working on 10.6 Feature Pack 2. Everything from user experience to security, administration, and really just solidifying RightFax's stance that it is the #1 fax server in the marketplace in terms of scalability, security, ease of administration, and helping to support compliance efforts across major verticals. So this is some really exciting stuff, and I'm going to let Fitz talk about some of the enhancements they made to the web client, and this is really a bulk of where a lot of the efforts went for this feature pack that will have a lot of impacts and new features available for your users. Fitz?
So good morning. So OpenText, they've been looking at consolidating the web client for a number of years now, and so they are introducing a new, I call it a universal web client in Feature Pack 2. And what this web client is going to do is going to give us a platform across the desktop, mobile devices, and tablets that are the same, regardless of which device you're using. The web client is gonna look the same. They are supporting BlackBerry, they are supporting Apple and Android and Windows mobile phones, and the same with the tablets. They're supporting the iOS, Android, and Windows-based tablets. And the web client supports Internet Explorer, and these are all the latest versions of these browser products: Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Now, the objective of the web client, and for those of you who currently use the different flavors of the web client that RightFax have, there are 2 different flavors. There's one called the RightFax Web Util, or the Web Access Client, and then there's also another one called the RightFax Web Client, and that is their 508 compliant version. The RightFax Web Util, or the Web Access Client, only works on Internet Explorer, and the other web client works on all of the different browser platforms. So the new RightFax web client is going to replace the existing web client, and eventually it will also replace the Web Util client. As you know, the RightFax Web Util is only supported up to Internet Explorer version 10. It is not supported on IE 11. And as of this release, it is still a part of the release of Feature Pack 2, but going forward, there won't really be any additional development on the Web Util, and the universal web client will be the browser client that that will be available going forward with RightFax.
And as a reminder for all customers out there, the web clients are free with any version of RightFax that you own. So if that's something that you're not currently utilizing, we can help set that up for you. It's free, no additional purchase. As long as you have an active support contract, we can help you configure these clients.
Okay. So this is, go back. So this is just one of the slides to give you an idea of what the new web client looks like. It is built using HTML5. It does not use Microsoft Silverlight. It is an HTML5 client, and it gives us the ability really to be able to manage our faxes, to be able to send faxes, to be able to receive faxes from anywhere, from any device, anywhere in the world. Some of the things to highlight in terms of functionality, you do have the ability to do signatures with the new web client. So, for instance, on your mobile device or tablet, you can send a fax or address a fax and be able to use your stylus or your finger to sign a document. This is also a capability that is available through your browser, where you can use the mouse to sign a document, do freehand signatures through the browser as well. Another exciting capability that this will offer, again, on your mobile devices, is you'll be able to take a picture of something and then fax it using the web client. So, you know,
contracts, different purchase orders, things like that. So basically, a lot of these features and functionalities currently exist. I have an app that I love that I've used for a couple years called Sign Easy, for example. And these different apps are available, but they require you to utilize your email generally to send these signed documents from it. And we know in certain areas that doesn't meet various security standards, as well as audit logging, things like that. So now you can still have your users use the fax system that you want to use for various reasons, and still give them the features that they are wanting and are used to being able to get through faxing. So even though it is 2015 and some people don't think fax is as relevant, this is a great update because it allows it to fit into your users' needs and requests while still maintaining the business process you might have identified.
Okay. And one thing we want to note is that this is a browser-based client that's being used on the mobile devices on the desktop. This is not an app that's designed for the different operating systems.
You do have the ability, though, for your users, for ease of sending it out, where, you know, for Apple devices, you can save a web page to be represented almost like an app on your home screen and things like that. So you can still have that ease of use.
Okay, just like in the current web, the web util and the current web client, there is an online help tool that's built in to the new web client, which will give you access to all different help screens, any information you're going to need in terms of functionality or how to do things in the web client. It's all available through an online web tool. This is a screen here that kind of give you an idea of what that looks like.
So especially if you don't have that many users that are utilizing this client, or you're looking to expand its use, this is a great resource. So again, you don't have to support your users with extensive training. Very common sense, kind of easy to use application for your users to utilize.
All right, so we're going to talk about some of the improvements to Fax Util that's included in Feature Pack 2. As you know, Fax Util is the desktop client portion of the RightFax. RightFax have enhanced Fax Util where users are able to place an image on the fax through the viewer. You are also able to make freehand annotations on the fax. So, for instance, that gives you the capability, for instance, to be able to add a signature to a fax from within Fax Util. If you make changes to a fax in Fax Util, that is, you do any annotations, you add an image to that particular fax, then the original version is saved, and then a second version is created. So, for instance, you want to send a fax and you have a JPEG image, for instance. You can just drag that image to the viewer and place it on the fax where you want it to be located. Okay, other things to note, there are some additional confirmations, a print confirmation. Users can view and print a confirmation page from within Fax Util. Now, the capability to print a history has always existed. Now they're adding a confirmation page, and when you print the confirmation page, it will include a thumbnail of the first page of the fax, as well as the transmission history and any other transaction history that's been appended to the fax. Admins have an easy way to submit faxes for archiving from right within Fax Util. RightFax does have a product called the OpenText Fax Archive that is integrated with RightFax, and using this product in conjunction with RightFax, admins can easily archive information right from Fax Util. And users can view a more detailed Fax Util history. You probably noticed over the last year or two, as improvements are being made to RightFax, that in Fax Util, when you look at the history, more and more information is being appended to that history. OpenText is continuing down that path. You also have the ability to send the history from via email from the fax viewer. Okay, and this is a screenshot of some of the new capabilities here. You see there's a show confirmation page option, as well as an archive option from right within Fax Util. Another improvement that was added was the ability to view a cover page from within the fax information screen. So, if your organization has, lots of cover pages, hundreds of cover pages, when you hit that drop-down list, you're seeing a name. You don't necessarily know what that cover page looks like. There's now a view option from the fax information screen, so you can preview that cover page before you actually send it.
And this is nice because it allows you to do this without having to do the fax with the hold for preview.
Right.
For the whole fax, you can just do it right here and make it go a little bit faster.
A couple of additional columns that were added to Fax Util. There's now a DID/DNIS column that you can add to Fax Util, and that will show the DID number that a fax was sent to. And more importantly, in my opinion, there's now a completion time column. So, in the past, or ever since Fax Util has been built, there's always been a date and time column, but that column shows you the time, the date and time that the fax was submitted to the server. You could easily see what time the fax completed by looking at the history, but now there's a column here that you can add to Fax Util that will show the actual completion time. So, and that's a field that's been added to the RightFax database. So if you have automated processes and API calls that look for that date and time, there's now a completion time option in there to get that information reported back.
That's especially important for customers that have strong SLAs in place, saying that they have to respond to something within a certain period of time of a fax being received as well. That's really important because, as we know, sending a one-page fax is very different than sending a 200-page fax or even a 50-page fax that's full of various images. Right, that time, that completion time can be very different from that start time. So this is a great feature that they added for some customers that need that.
Okay, some additional notification enhancements that were added. One, users can be notified via email during the fax transmission, so they can actually see where the fax is in progress of transmission. You know, for instance, if you have a very large fax that you're sending, you know, that would be very helpful in seeing whether, you know, let's say it's a 50-page fax, you know, 30 pages have already been transmitted. So that'll give you an idea of when that fax transmission would complete. Other things that were added, print notifications now include a thumbnail image of the fax and metadata. Previously, that feature was available only when you received email notifications. You could have a thumbnail of the fax. That's also been extended to print notifications. And group administrators can also be notified via email when a fax needs approval.
So I'm going to talk about some enhancements that are made around the MFPs in particular. So we have a number of customers that are integrating their RightFax system to MFPs, and a number of customers that aren't for various reasons. And the MFP connector, if you're not familiar with it, is really great in that it replaces the fax kit that's inside your MFPs, which can allow for consolidation of phone lines, easier management, but it also, for a lot of our organizations, closes a security gap where they don't know who is walking up to a Xerox or Konica Minolta machine and what they're sending out. So RightFax really does become that centralized hub for faxing. But what they've done is they've added some restriction options for some of their connectors. And RightFax has some purpose-built connectors, for example, HP, Xerox, Ricoh, and others. And then they also have a standard SMTP connector as well. So what they did is they added, it seems like a simple thing, right? They're asking people to put in the fax number and then confirm that fax number. And that's because sometimes on these devices, you know, you're typing into a tablet, it's easy to kind of push the wrong number accidentally. So this helps solve that issue. Especially, this was done for a lot of our users that are faxing sensitive information. So a lot of healthcare organizations, for example, that have very large MFP fleets, they really want to make sure that this fax is going where it should go. So that's one of the reasons they added this feature. Another enhancement is you can choose different contacts from the different phone books. This is a screenshot of what one of the different interfaces look like. They all look a little bit different for the different manufacturers, but they're pretty similar on that end. They've also done some updates for both the Active Directory Sync module as well as RightFax Connect. And as a refresher, RightFax Connect is OpenText's partly cloudy option, which allows you to have an on-premise RightFax server with the cloud-based telephony. This is a great fit for some of our customers, especially those that are looking to add capacity to their RightFax system. They can really see a good ROI as opposed to buying and adding new channel licenses and PRIs. RightFax Connect is a good fit. I'll let Fitz talk about some of the sync module updates for you.
So, you know, in an effort to continually make improvements to the synchronization between RightFax and Active Directory, you know, customers are constantly making feature requests to OpenText to improve this capability. So some of the things that they've done in Feature Pack 2 is, one, they have added management of disabled users. Before, RightFax really ignored users that were disabled in Active Directory when it came to synchronization. If user IDs in AD are updated or changed, they are also updated automatically in RightFax. Also, the prevention of creating duplicate user accounts through synchronization was added. There are some additional enhancements related to disabled users, for instance, where there's a checkbox where you can specify whether you want RightFax to import a disabled user or not. So those are some of the you know, some of the enhancements with the Active Directory sync that we just wanted to highlight.
For RightFax Connect, they basically added the ability for that to work with a proxy server. And as a refresher, you can set up RightFax Connect via dialing rules to be a backup to your on-premise telephony. So RightFax Connect, which I call a hybrid cloud environment, can work in a hybrid deployment as well. So you can have, for example, incoming faxes come through your telephony, outgoing faxes go through RightFax Connect. Or if there's no phone line available for outgoing faxes, to then go through RightFax Connect. So this, adding it to work with a proxy server, is just adding some additional capabilities for that. So there's been some security features added for RightFax Fax Util as well that Fitz will talk about for you.
So with Fax Util, if you're using a RightFax login, and you know, those of you familiar with RightFax, you can have a RightFax login and a RightFax password, or you can tie your login credentials into your Active Directory account and do pass-through authentication. If you're doing you're using a RightFax login, there's a remember password option when you log in to Fax Util. And a lot of times people just, you know, check remember password, and then they never get prompted again, and it just goes away. However, if somebody else you know, logs on or gets access to your workstation, they're able to now access your RightFax without having to enter a password. So they've given the administrators the ability to disable the remember password option when you log into Fax Util, and this would cause the user to have to authenticate every time they log in. Other things that they've done is they have given the administrators the ability to well, the web client automatically ends your session when the browser closes. That's a feature that they've added. They've also given administrators the ability to set an inactive time on the web client, so that, you know, if nothing's happened for the last 5 or 10 minutes, it'll automatically log you out. And they've added a SSL connection to to SQL. So this adds another layer of security to your RightFax system, in that the communication between RightFax and your SQL database is going to be encrypted. Now, RightFax also has a module, an optional module called the RightFax encryption module. And what this module does is it encrypts the fax images while they are at rest on your server. So with with the implementation of the encryption module, as well as the secure connection to SQL, this gives your entire system a much higher level of security. The SSL connection to SQL is not an additional module. This is a part of the core product that you just have to configure.
Yeah, and if you are interested in the encryption module, please talk to your account manager. It's an add-on module, and it's a great module that a lot of our high security customers are adding to their systems. Okay,
so there's some administration and use capabilities that were added. Obviously, the upgrade from 10.6 Feature Pack 2. The upgrade to 10.6 Feature Pack 2, they've made some changes to that. The FP2 is actually a full-blown install now. So in the past, whenever they released a feature pack, you would have to install the core product, excuse me, and then install the feature pack. On top of that, Feature Pack 2 comes with its own package, so you can actually install a RightFax server from scratch with 10.6 Feature Pack 2 from ISO. They've also added the capability to arrange the server list in the Enterprise Fax Manager. You can now arrange it. For instance, we have some customers that have a number of RightFax servers across their enterprise. They've given us the ability to manage how that list shows up in the Enterprise Fax Manager. We're talking about that server list over on the left-hand side. You can actually sort that list. You can move servers into groups, and then they give you the ability to be able to export that list out to a file so that it can then be imported to somebody else's workstation, so you can have consistency there.
Something that is that I want to point out is in terms of managing permissions, and this is something that I've encountered with some customers for either large enterprise deployments or high secure deployments. You can now have permissions around people either creating or editing phone books. You can allow people to do that or not allow them to do that. And something that's also big that people have been asking for is allowing or restricting users from granting delegate access. So if you have someone that you do not want them to allow others to give them delegate access to, that's something that you can now enforce, which is great.
Another capability in terms of managing permissions as it relates to the MFP devices, RightFax does give us the ability to restrict users to only be able to send faxes from the MFP devices to phone numbers that exist in the RightFax phone books. Mm-hmm. So we have the ability to restrict faxing from MFPs that are integrated with RightFax, of course, to only be able to fax the numbers that are in the phone book. A couple of other things that they've added: database threads are now automatically handled by RightFax. RightFax will increase and decrease database threads as necessary. This is not something that you manually have to manage. RightFax will manage that automatically. And they've also added a new description field when you set up user accounts, where we can add notes regarding a user. Groups have been extended to have up to 9 alternate administrators. before we only had we had one administrator and one alternate admins. Now you can have up to 9 alternate administrators. We also have the ability to set up a secondary image directory. So if the primary directory is unavailable, RightFax will automatically write the images to a secondary directory, and it will manage the faxes in both areas when they're available. We mentioned some of the archiving features that were added. Users now have the ability to archive faxes, and the user archive settings will supersede the group archive settings, and the call blocking feature that exists in RightFax. Currently, you can set up kind of a whitelist, so to speak, of phone numbers that RightFax will not accept calls from. That feature has been extended to where you can set up area codes, country codes, prefixes, and such. So you have a lot more flexibility. Auto replies, you can now have multiple auto reply templates. And before auto replies, basically you have one auto reply per server. Now you can have multiple auto reply templates for individuals as well as fax numbers. And then there's some additional enhancements to the fax control language, and they've also added where delegate setting changes are tracked as a part of the audit report.
Something that they also added that's big for security-driven customers is any changes that are made to delegate settings are now tracked as well in the audit report. So that's a big thing, especially if your users are allowed to give their delegates full access to their faxes. That's good to know, and that's being tracked as well. For customers using the integration module, there's more flexibility on retries on a per-job basis, which is also great.
Another thing that I wanted to mention, it's not in any of the slides here, but for those of you out there who are interested, SQL 2014 is supported officially as a part of the Feature Pack 2 release.
So next steps, if you are currently a Syscom Premium Support customer, meaning your first line of support is through Syscom, you get upgrades and installs as part of that for free as part of your support contract. So if you're interested in having us go ahead and install this for you, please contact us and we can set that up. We have installed and are in the process of testing this feature pack. We are working with OpenText on that. There are, a couple bugs that Fabulous Fits has already uncovered, and we're working with that. We're kind of conservative in terms of saying don't install things right away. So we're going through that process right now. This feature pack was just officially released this month. So I wouldn't say go ahead and install this tomorrow, but if you want to go ahead and get us on your schedule, and we'll talk and work with you on the issues that have been identified and when those are fixed, so when we feel like it's good and stable for usage.
Right. And one other thing to note, OpenText have already released a service release on top of the feature pack, so the official version as of today is 10.6 Feature Pack 2 Service Release 1. So they've already addressed some of the concerns that they've gotten feedback from some customers in field tests.
Yep. And if you don't have a Syscom Premium Support account and you're interested in that, please let us know. We're happy to work with you on that, as well as if you want us to assist with the upgrade, even if you don't have a Premium Support account, we can assist you with that as well. That kind of ties into some new support offerings. In the past, we really only offered OpenText direct support, and then the Syscom Premium support. And we've gotten a lot of feedback over the past couple years that customers wanted to have kind of the personal support experience with Syscom, with a team that's familiar with their implementation and their environment, but procurement says go with the lowest cost, which has been the OpenText standard support. We've also received feedback from our customers, some of which have no issues with OpenText support, and some of which are experiencing some issues with OpenText support. So we wanted to be sensitive to our customers' needs and requests. So we actually are in the process, we've launched a Syscom Services Standard support, which is a lower price point than our Syscom Premium support. If you want any information or details on that, please let us know. We've also added recently some more benefits to our premium support customers. So if you do have need for any technical services that aren't covered by your contract, you now as a premium customer will always get a discount on those. So again, any questions on any of our support offerings, please let us know. We really value the feedback from our customers and want to offer what makes sense for them. Along that vein, we are really trying to kick off some additional webinars. If there are any features or any items that you want us to cover in these webinars, please let us know. I know it is difficult sometimes to join a webinar in the middle of the day. We always record our webinars. They'll always be available on demand as well. So if there is something that you're interested in that we can help address, we value that feedback. Additionally, if there are any feature requests from OpenText that you're looking for, or things that you think would make doing business easier for you, please let us know. We mentioned that we do have a fax archiving option. We also have another product that you may have heard from us. It's called mFiles, which is a really great enterprise information management tool that has great integrations with RightFax that we can talk with and bring to you as well. We will also, we're in the process of planning an upcoming customer day. We're actually going to have 2 different customer days this upcoming year, and we're in the early stages of that. So we're going to have one that's really focused on our healthcare customers. There's going to be a lot coming up from OpenText and from us regarding this new platform, this new way of sending messages with your RightFax system, and that's called Healthcare Direct. So stay tuned. We're going to be hosting a webinar with OpenText about that in October. So stay tuned for that invitation. We will be having a healthcare-focused customer day, as well as a general RightFax customer day as well in this upcoming year. If you have any preference on locations or ideas or activities, we're in the planning stages, you know, whether it be a sporting event, a nice meal, lunch and learn, activity, locations, DC, Annapolis, Columbia, Baltimore, other areas as well. We value that feedback, so please let us know what we can do to assist you. I'm going to see if there's any questions. It looks like...
So if you have any questions, you want to go ahead and submit it through the chat window.
Yep. As well, we do want to point out and thanks everyone for their time for joining today. If you have any questions or needs, you can always contact us. We have a new website that we kind of are in the middle of a unofficial soft launch right now. We're going to be continuing to add new content to that website, as well as new content to our blog. Please make sure that you subscribe to that. We're going to be running some different promotions over the next few months as well, and the best way for you to find out about those is to be subscribed. We promise not to spam you like crazy. I'm going to go ahead and open the phone lines just in case there are any questions. Just a moment.
Okay, so we have one question. With SR2 being a full or with Feature Pack 2 being a full install, is an uninstall of the existing required, or will it overwrite and keep settings? So an uninstall is not required. However, there are minimum versions that you can upgrade from. So, for instance, in order to upgrade to Feature Pack 2, you will need to be at least at the 10.6 Feature Pack 1 level. But no, you don't need to do an uninstall. RightFax will handle the upgrade automatically.
Great question.
Okay, do we know if the user list will update in Fax Util when new accounts are created in the Enterprise Fax Manager? Generally, when new accounts are created in the EFM, if you already have Fax Util open, you do have to close Fax Util and open it again before those new accounts will show up. That has not changed.
Last call for questions. Everyone is unmuted, so you can also ask your question via your phone if you want to. And with that, I believe that's all for today, so I'm going to stop the recording. We will be posting this so you can share with your colleagues. Thank you again for joining today, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.